Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. The world is caught in a fiery whirlpool of war. Missiles are flying, alliances are shifting, and markets are trembling. But amidst the chaos, the biggest wildcard sits in Washington. American President Donald Trump. His flip-flops are keeping the world totally guessing. First, he says it's too late for talks. Then he says we're negotiating. From no boots on the ground to considering full-scale invasion. Kabhi haan, kabhi na is what we are getting to hear. The latest U-turn comes on sanctions for importing Russian oil. After thundering threats of 500% tariffs on India, now America has waived off this sanction for India again. Remember, the missiles of Iran have struck not just US and Israeli establishments, but also at the very heart of global energy security. The Ras Tanura oil refinery in Saudi Arabia has been struck along with 2 petroleum plants in Qatar. In fact, in UAE, the Fujairah and Musafa oil terminals have also been hit. In Oman, there is damage to fuel tanks across 2 ports. And the worst blow to the supply chain has been the virtual blockade of the Strait of Hormuz, where 9 tankers have been sunk to the bottom of the ocean. In fact, perhaps this is the reason that the United States Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent now says that to enable oil to keep flowing into the global markets, US is issuing a temporary 30-day waiver to allow Indian refiners to buy Russian oil. Watch how this is absolutely opposite to what Trump had said in the past. What forced him to make this U-turn? Well, watch this.
Modi is a great man. That he loves Trump, and he's assured me there will be no oil purchased from Russia. Well, India is not going to be buying Russian oil anymore. India will not be buying oil from Russia. And, they've already de-escalated, and they've more or less stopped. They're pulling back. India, as you know, has told me they are stopping. You know, it's a process. You can't just stop it. But by the end of the year, they'll be down to almost nothing.
After the U-turn from Trump Sarkar on sanctions for Russian oil imports, the opposition has gone all guns blazing at the Modi Sarkar. Rahul Gandhi led that charge, saying India will pay the price for our energy reliance. His generals roared that India has been reduced to a banana republic by American blackmail. Others lashed out at the sanctimonious language of condensation and Trump's neo-imperial arrogance. Take a look.
And how is India going to pay the price? Directly because of our energy reliance on the Middle East. Prices in India are going to rise. Fuel in India is going to become more expensive. China's on our border. And America's our ally. And they're getting ready to fight. So we have to be very careful where we are standing. And that we don't suddenly get sucked into.
ये अंग्रेजी में इसको क्या क्या कह सकते हैं? Client state, vassal state, puppet state, banana republic, a tin pot state. You choose.
अब ये तो आप नया ग्लोबल ऑर्डर है ना कि जिस देश के खिलाफ सैंक्शन होगा और उससे आप नहीं खरीद सकते तो इजाजत लेंगे तो हम आत्मनिर्भर कैसे हुए?
Who is United States of America to tell us where to buy Russian oil from? क्या हमने पूरा का पूरा डिसीजन मेकिंग प्रोसेस यूएस के हवाले दे दिया है?
भगत सिंह जी से लेके गांधी जी तक कितने लोगों ने कुर्बानी दे के इस देश को आजाद कराया था? इसलिए नहीं कराया था कि मोदी जी अपने किसी पर्सनल कारण से भारत को अमेरिका के हाथों बेच देंगे.
The centre, meanwhile, has stated that India's energy security will always be the top priority for the Modi Sarkar.
जब इस क्षेत्र में डिस्टर्बेंस या डिसरप्शन होता है तो उसका सीधा असर ऑयल और गैस की सप्लाई पर पड़ता है. इन अनसर्टेनिटीज का सीधा प्रभाव इकोनॉमी और ग्लोबल ट्रेड पर पड़ता है. यह एक एबनॉर्मल सिचुएशन है, मैं ऐसा मानता हूं. What I consider as more worrying is the fact that this abnormalcy is becoming the new normal.
Let's get you a Newshour fact check, which torpedoes the opposition's fakery. Watch how India's crude oil imports from Russia over the last 12 months have reduced but never stopped. From 39.5% in April 2025, we now import roughly 22% oil from Russia. Here are some more fact checks. The sanction waiver is no favor, as India is one of the world's largest refining hubs with a capacity of 258 million metric tons per annum. India is well stocked. 60% of India's energy imports don't flow through Straits of Hormuz. In fact, we have advanced reserves of crude oil, petroleum and diesel that can last at least 50 days or more. And when it comes to oil price rise, remember, under the UPA, petrol prices went up by 112% and diesel by 155%. And during the NDA, prices have gone up by 33% for petrol, 58% for diesel in the last 12 years. Now, for all those who say that Prime Minister Modi surrendered to American sanctions and sanctimony, let's remind you, on the 11th of June 2012, when the Congress-led UPA was in power, the then Secretary of State, Hillary Clinton, released this notification saying, "Today I have made the determination that 7 economies, including India, have significantly reduced crude oil purchases from Iran. As a result, sanctions for this year will not apply to them for a potentially renewable period of 180 days. Was this not kowtowing to American diktats at that time? So did the Congress surrender to America and stop buying oil from Iran in 2012? What blackmail did they succumb to? This is not political rhetoric. This is a hard fact. So, ladies and gentlemen, the Motorola legitimate question we are asking on the Newshour tonight: have facts torpedoed Congress's fakery? That's the question, and that's the debate coming up on the other side.
You're watching the Newshour at 9, debate number 1 on Times Now, Super Prime Time.
Joining the debate tonight, Shehzad Poonawalla, national spokesperson of the BJP, Anand Ranganathan, author, political commentator. Also joining the debate, Abhijit Iyer Mitra, senior fellow at the IPCS, strategic expert. Joining the debate with me from the Samajwadi Party is Faizan Kidwai, national spokesperson. Also joining me is Nivan Sharma, national spokesperson of the Aam Aadmi Party. But my first question goes to Congress supporter Tehseen Poonawalla. And Tehseen Poonawalla, I want to ask you, in the middle of a war, to question your own government, especially on the Russian oil statement made in the United States, and have it impact India and domestic politics, is this rather naive? After all, we have been buying up to 1 million barrels per day even till February last. What is this waiver actually worth, even if you were to get all outraged with the statement that has come? And number two, 2012, when Hillary Clinton announced that imports of oil from Iran had been reduced by India, who was the Congress government scared of? Who did they surrender to at that time? Would you care to explain to the people of India?
Good evening, Navika. Thank you for having me on the show. Good evening to all my fellow panelists and to all the viewers of Times Now. Let me answer your second question first before the first question that we all took up very aggressively. Navika, 2012, the Congress government was weak, surrendered, Hillary Clinton was strong. These are all words the BJP said, look, we need a strong government in the center. So now the justification for the BJP is the Congress surrendered, so it's okay for the BJP to surrender. If we go by your logic and the BJP's logic, yours is not personally the logic the BJP is putting up. But Navika, let me come to the first part of the question, something that we've all taken up aggressively. Navika, whatever differences any one of us on this panel have, and we can have differences, no prime minister has ever compromise India's energy security and sovereignty. The statement replies, to enable oil to keep flowing into the global market, the Treasury Department is issuing a temporary 30-day waiver to allow Indian refineries. Who the hell is the United States of America to give me any sort of reprieve? I was on your show, Navika, when I said that, look, on the interim US-Indo trade deal, US is saying we will not be purchasing. Our purchases have come down. You said, no. If we will do what we want. Now they're saying, look, you're committed to go down. We are allowing you. We will buy oil from who we want. Russia, Venezuela, Iran. We will buy when we want. Who is any nation to tell us what we should do and give us a temporary reprieve? If this is not an attack on our sovereignty, I don't know, Navika, how this can be spun around.
Hillary Clinton's statement, not an attack on our sovereignty in 2012. Today's statement, attack on our sovereignty here in 2026. Shehzad Poonawala, please respond to that charge.
See, Navika, today when Congress party and its supporters are speaking about sovereignty, it is like Osama speaking about world peace. Rahul Gandhi literally went to foreign soil and said, India democracy is over, US and UK should intervene into India. Literally their family has given up Aksai Chin, Kacha Tivu, Pakistan, occupied Kashmir, jo hamara Kashmir hai, wo wala hissa. Then they have given up our rights to respond to Pakistan after 26/11 under the pressure of Condoleezza Rice, as confirmed by Chidambaram ji. They have given up the right to do nuclear tests in 1990s under United States pressure, which has been confirmed by WikiLeaks. And in 2008, 123 agreement, when it was signed, at that time you would have remembered that the civil nuclear installations were put up for permanent inspection of the United community or the world community. So they have compromised our sovereignty time and time again. And today what has happened? Let me give the facts first of all. Navika, this Treasury Secretary tweet, which is being spoken of, it has been fact-checked by Twitter itself. Because Twitter is also saying that we have never stopped buying the Russian oil. In fact, just last month, in February, we have bought maximum amount of Russian oil and it has gone up by 6% as per the data. Every day we are purchasing 10 lakh barrels per day of Russian oil. That means no waiver is required. Actually, this is not waiver. This is tever. I'll tell you example के साथ. अब नाविका जी अभी जो इससे पहले पैनलिस्ट थे, तहसीन पूनावाला, वो अपने घर में जाते हैं, मतलब मेरा भी घर वही है. वो घर में जाकर मम्मी को मेरे बोलते हैं कि मम्मी आपको पता है आज नाविका की डिबेट मैंने करवाई. मैंने नाविका को बोला, नाविका यू डू डिबेट ऑन दिस टॉपिक एंड यू इनवाइट मी. माय मदर इज वेरी हैप्पी. माय मदर इज सेइंग वाह तहसीन वाह, कितना अच्छा आपने काम किया. पर नाविका को हकीकत पता है कि नाविका ने तहसीन को इनवाइट किया है, नाविका ने शहजाद को इनवाइट किया है, नाविका ने निव्यान को, आनंद को इनवाइट किया है, और नाविका हर रोज डिबेट करती है. तहसीन के जो घर में बोलने से नाविका कोई अंतर नहीं पड़ता, और वो फैक्ट चेक भी हो चुका है. तो नाविका, इट इज नॉट वेवर, दिस इज तेवर. व्हाट इज एक्चुअल वेवर आई विल शो यू. Waiver is when in 2011 we used to purchase 3.5 lakh barrels per day of Iranian oil, और फिर Hillary Rodham Clinton का फोन आया, Sonia stop buying the oil, just now stop buying it. Then Sonia called Manmohan, stop buying the oil, and Manmohan stopped buying the oil. ये होता है interference. Sonia, don't do attack on Pakistan after 26/11. Sonia picks up the phone and tells Manmohan, don't attack Pakistan. Manmohan, don't attack. ये होता है interference. तो नाविका जी, I think कि वेवर को तेवर की तरह देखने वाले हम लोग हैं, परंतु तेवर को वेवर मानने वाले ये लोग हैं. पर मैं अभी पूछना चाहता हूं तहसीन पूनावाला से कि राहुल गांधी ऑन रिकॉर्ड said that US and UK should intervene into India. Is that compromise of our sovereignty? Yes or no? When you said Kashmir should be internationalized, Chacha Nehru said that. Was that compromise of our sovereignty? Yes or no? When Kacha Tivu was given away to Sri Lanka, was that compromise of our sovereignty? Yes or no? Tehseen Poonawala bata.
Well, while I ask Tehseen that, and everybody watching this show wants to know, आपकी मम्मी किससे ज़्यादा impress होती हैं, शहजाद से के तहसीन से? That is information we'll try and fact check for another day. But respond to Shehzad's question, Tehseen.
Navika, as expected, the BJP has gone back to the Nehru era. They could have even gone back to Aurangzeb, Babur, whatever they want to do. The fact is, we're talking about today. And the fact is to bring in times now. And Navika, you who we respect, and at least you're a sane person. If he's bringing my mother in, is he admitting in the BJP, admitting that Donald Trump is their daddy? That they go crying to daddy, and daddy will decide who you buy oil from. Please, the fact is that you have, under US pressure, agreed at one point for the interim trade agreement not to buy Russian oil. You reduce the buying of Russian oil, and today US is giving you permission to pick up Russian oil. And that is not acceptable to us as a proud nation. That is what we are talking about. Everything else is surround sound.
Well, Anand Ranganathan, Tehseen Poonawalla has decided to take 1 minute. Shehzad, hold on. No, I'm coming to you. Anand Ranganathan, Tehseen Poonawalla has donned the mantle of deciding what will be in India's favor, what will not be, what amounts to, bringing India's reputation down, what amounts to creating more autonomy of India. But tonight, I just want to ask you one thing. Facts don't matter. Just rhetoric? Is that what the Congress is basing their criticism on?
Good evening, Navika, and good evening to my fellow panelists. You know, this entire, brouhaha or controversy can be fitted in one analogy. Please allow me. Supposing tomorrow America says, or Donald Trump says, we are allowing Miss Navika Kumar a 30-day window to buy her 400th sari from Manish Malhotra. Are you going to say...
Manish Malhotra का 400 में साड़ी आता है क्या?
Please don't interrupt.
I think this is an insult.
400.
I know. He's rubbing it in because I don't have money to buy one also. And he's really insulting me.
This is an attack on Manish Malhotra's sovereignty. Sorry, Anand. Go on.
No.
Okay.
Look, are you going to stop? Or are you or your rivals going to be outraged that, oh my God, look, now Navika has been given a window and Navika only has 30 days to buy her 400th sari? Rubbish. You buy 10 saris every day. No one's ever stopped you. The same analogy goes for Russian oil. Now, Tehseen is right in one sense, because Congress was so genuflecting, or you can say subservient to foreigners. In fact, Congress's idea of foreign policy was policy dictated by foreigners. That's the reason why it was booted out. So there is no clear and present need to bring about the kind of subservience they exhibited while they were in power. I agree with Tehseen there. The point is, and I would agree with Tehseen and the opposition, if they were right in this matter. They are not. Let's not do whataboutery to expose Congress's sins. But out here, even what Modi has done in the last 3 years is incredible. Hats off to him. You need to praise him when praise is due. You know, in the last 3 years, when India has bought Russian oil, it has saved to the tune of $26 billion. That has checked our inflation by cumulatively 1.47%. Same guys would be crying hoarse that how come during a war our inflation has risen up, why don't we buy Russian oil? Number two, as for those saying that Russian oil has helped the elites, let me tell you that the refinery that has happened, for example, in Chennai Petroleum Corporation Limited, half of the 80,000 barrels that are refined are used locally. So if at all somebody has, benefited from it, it is the common man. And finally, third thing. Yes, Tehseen's criticism would be valid. Had we stopped buying Russian oil? We haven't. We've continued to buy Russian oil. We've increased it. We've decreased it depending upon our needs. When Trump said, I'm lifting 25% oil tariffs and now I will be monitoring whether India buys oil or not, and if found that it is buying oil, I will increase the tariffs. He said that a month ago. Last complete month, we've been buying more than 1 million barrels of Russian oil every day. Does that mean we've actually become subservient to Trump? Absolutely not. So if opposition was right, I would have sided with them. But they're completely wrong, as always. And good luck with your sorry.
Faizan Kidwai, that's the point. The point is that when this announcement came last month, for the whole month, we have continued to buy 1 million barrels per day from Russia. So America making these, grand statements doesn't really impact because we have continued to do so. But foreign policy doesn't mean that you go out there into, a Maidan and start flexing your muscles and showing, "Arey yaar, main bahut strong hu." That's not the way foreign policy works. They're saying what they're saying. We are doing what we want to do. Why is the opposition finding this pretext only for somehow trying to point at Narendra Modi for domestic politics?
Good evening, Navika. Good evening to you and to the fellow panelists. First of all, nobody's pointing fingers at Narendra Modi because that's something which we want to do. Unfortunately, he's the Prime Minister of India. So if there's some issue that is going on in the country, he's the person the opposition will ask questions to. And there are certain things, Navika, before I carry on, I heard you said the Bharatiya Janata Party or the government has torpedoed opposition's fakery. Unfortunately, Navika, if someone has torpedoed anything, that is Donald Trump, which has torpedoed India's sovereignty and economic future of its citizens. And you further said in the middle of the war, don't ask questions. Atal Bihari was doing the same thing when Indo-China war was happening. He asked for a parliamentary session and Pandit Nehru gracefully agreed and there was a discussion. This is statesmanship. This is how a pragmatic leader functions and should function. Acha, chaliye Navika, first of all, you said that we were continuing to buy Russian oil, but when this narcissist Donald Trump, who believes he's the big boss and all of us are his minions, then why doesn't our honorable Prime Minister or the government of India just tell him, kindly shut up, we are already buying this oil and you are nobody to tell us? When he humiliates India by saying someday Pakistan is going to sell oil to you, why doesn't India respond when he says, Modi calls him and says, sir, please let me meet you? Tab kyun nahi baat karte? Because Navika, you know, these guys, when they are on Insta reels, they have laser eyes. In reality, they are so spineless that they don't find the courage to condemn Donald Trump. Now, Navika, I just want to tell you that this permission, which of course they have publicly said for 30 days, and our self-proclaimed 56-inch ka non-biological Pradhan Mantri is so submissive that he's keeping silent now and following the diktats of Trump, not condemning it. But unfortunate part will start now, Navika. You know what is going to happen, the worst part, that right-wingers and BJP handles and everybody who supports Narendra Modi will say, see, this is another masterstroke of Narendra Modi. They'll give it a spin that Narendra Modi has won diplomatically again. This is Modi's foreign policy ki jeet, and all of them will dance like they fantasize in their minds how the non-biological supreme leader danced in Israel as per the exposes of Epstein file. So
थोड़ा ज्यादा नहीं हो गया, फैजान भाई, थोड़ा ज्यादा हो गया.
ज्यादा नहीं हो गया नाविका जी, अब ज्यादा तो अभी होगा. अभी पता नहीं क्या क्या डिक्टेट्स आने वाले हैं वहां से, अब वहां से क्या क्या डिक्टेट्स आने वाले हैं. So it's the duty of the opposition, because constantly the issues are constantly happening. This ship IRS Dina was bombarded within the vicinity of India. It was our guest, and Narendra Modi didn't find the courage to condemn that. At the same time, Navika, there are a lot of issues that are constantly happening.
Faizan Kidwai, yes, the ship was our guest, but it left the Indian shores a long time ago. You can't take responsibility for everything that is happening, in international waters. And one stand. What? Will you dictate that? Will you dictate that? But Shehzad Poonawalla, Today, Faizan Kidwai has not only given you an analysis of where all Modi is going wrong, but he's also given you a forecast कि आगे क्या गलत होने वाला है. उन्हें पता है. He's gazing into his crystal ball. He's an astrologer. Please respond to him.
देखिए नाविका जी, सबसे पहले तो आई अंडरस्टैंड द डांसिंग फैंटेसीज ऑफ बोथ कांग्रेस एंड समाजवादी पार्टी. एक सैफई में और एक बार से रिलेटेड डांस एक्टिविटीज में शामिल रहते हैं, तो उनको डांसिंग तो उनका स्वाभाविक नेचर है, तो उनको रहने दीजिए. ये डांस करना क्या होता है मैं आपको बताता हूं. In foreign policy, the axiom is that actions speak louder than words. And Tehseen Poonawalla has not been able to answer Anand Ranganathan and me that today are we buying 10 lakh barrels of oil from Russia every day? Yes. Did we buy maximum amount of oil from Russia in February? Yes. If the trade deal was contingent on the fact that not a drop of oil would be purchased by India, then how come we continue to buy this? And this means that Narendra Modi's government is so strong that चाहे जिसने जो बोला, हमने अपना राष्ट्रहित को आगे रखते हुए वहीं से किया खरीदी जहां पे हमारा नेशनल इंटरेस्ट लाई करता है. और मैं इससे आगे आपको 2-3 बातें बताना चाहता हूं. तहसीन पूनावाला साइलेंट हो गए. आई थॉट तहसीन पूनावाला इज सो फुल ऑफ फैक्ट्स, बट तहसीन पूनावाला wasn't America the big daddy when Congress and Samajwadi Party government was literally hand twisted that don't take action on Pakistan? Wasn't Congress party taking that America is my big daddy when it said nuclear test mat karo and aapne nuclear test nahi kiya? And then Vajpayee ji did it despite the economic sanctions. Is this a fact or not a fact? And is it not true that in 123 agreement, you have put our nuclear technology of civilian installations into the international inspection? And that time the Samajwadi Party actually supported this 123 agreement. But now let me come to the last point about this ship sinking. Navika, ek aur example deta hu. Navika Kumar invites Anand Ranganathan and me for a birthday party at Navika's house, which is close to my house. And then after that, Anand Ranganathan and I leave. Now, Anand Ranganathan has some problem with me, and in some remote area close to Anand Ranganathan's house, he goes and murders me. I'm just giving an example. He will not murder me. He's my brother. Now, is Navika responsible for that? नाविका के घर से दोनों निकल गए, आनंद और मेरी पुरानी रंजिश है, आनंद ने अपने घर के पास मुझे मारा और उसका दोष नाविका पर. अरे गजब है भाई. श्रीलंका के पास था वो शिप. श्रीलंकन शिप has been called, the Irani ship was calling, just 10 seconds please. Irani ship was calling the Sri Lankan authorities. It has been testified by Sri Lankan MPs, but yet you are blaming India. You know why, Navika? They are blaming India because 37 ships are right now in Hormuz, which has Indian crew. They want Iranis to attack those ships and kill Indians, and 3 Indians have been killed by the Irani projectiles, but not a word has been uttered on that. Navika, they want Indians to die. That's why they don't take the support of those Indians who are living in Gulf regions. They have not taken one stand on it.
I don't know about anybody else in politics, but I pray for the safety of every single Indian out there caught in whatever crossfire. I pray for each one of them to return home safely. And let's not even wish this in our worst dreams. But Faizan Kidwai, आप फ्यूचर में भी हमारे साथ ये हो जाएगा ये सब, कुछ दिनों के लिए नेशनल इंटरेस्ट में can't we just walk together? It's a simple question that is desired by the people of India.
देखिए, पहले तो मैं शहजाद साहब आज कुछ अलग मुख्तलिफ मूड में हैं. कभी वो साड़ी की बात कर रहे हैं, अभी कह रहे हैं आनंद रंगनाथन मर्डर कर देंगे. पता नहीं क्या कॉन्स्पिरेसी थ्योरीज लेकर के आए, क्या खतरनाक पिक्चरें देख रहे हैं आप आजकल. पता नहीं, आपको भी शायद नाइटमेयर आ रहा है नरेंद्र मोदी साहब के इस डिसीजन को देख करके. आप बिल्कुल जो है, बुरा मत मानिएगा, थोड़ा सा बौखला गए. तो नाविका, द थिंग इज कि जो हालात हैं अभी हद से ज्यादा बद से बदतर होते चले जा रहे हैं. तो ऑफ कोर्स दिस इज, और आपने कहा था है क्रिस्टल बॉल. नहीं नाविका जी, क्रिस्टल बॉल इज विद नरेंद्र मोदी साहब. वो और अजीब सा क्रिस्टल बॉल है, वो उसमें देख करके एयरफोर्स वालों को कह देते हैं कि क्लाउड के पीछे छुप जाओ, रेडार नहीं पकड़ेगा. पता नहीं कौन सी नॉलेज है, अव्वल दर्जे की नॉलेज. सोचिए, ये प्रधानमंत्री हिंदुस्तान के. और नाविका, the concern which every Indian has right now, see, when Trump is constantly humiliating all of us, he tried the same tactics with Canada, but it was Trudeau and Carney, they gave it back to Trump in solar plexus, and after that the Trump mend his ways and he mellowed down. He didn't do that, didn't humiliate those countries again. It was Zelensky who did the same thing. He stood up against the bullying of Trump. But Mr. Narendra Modi, except for those jarring noises his supporters call laughter, apart from that and those tight hugs, there is no diplomacy at Mr. Narendra Modi's end. He goes to Israel recently. What actually happened after wasting so much of taxpayers' money? It was only for photo ops. Was the deal, the final trade deal actually signed there? Not at all. Navika, what happened? उनको एक तमगा पकड़ा दिया देखने के लिए, which had no previous history. उसकी कोई वैल्यू नहीं है कि जैसे बच्चे को देते हैं लो लड्डू लो बेटा खाते हुए घर चले जाना, और वो कह रहे हैं मुझे बड़ा ऑनर कर दिया.
अगर आपको लगता है 1.4 बिलियन डॉलर्स की कंट्री लड्डू लेकर शांत बैठी हुई है, तो मुझे लगता है आप नरेंद्र मोदी की और बीजेपी सरकार की नहीं, इस देश की तौहीन कर रहे हैं.
क्या बात कर रहे हैं? क्या लेकर आए? सवाल पूछो, क्या लेके बता दीजिए, क्या मिला वहां से?
फैजान किदवाई शायद जियोपॉलिटिक्स की जितनी समझ आपको होनी चाहिए नहीं है, जो आपको समझ में नहीं आ रहा. इट्स नॉट अ स्टैटिक, इट्स अ डायनामिक सिचुएशन. बट अभिजीत अय्यर मित्रा, बी माय गेस्ट, एक्सप्लेन टू हिम. मैं शायद एक्सप्लेन नहीं कर पा रही.
So, Navika, for the last 2 days, I think, here, 4 days, I think, since Khamenei was killed, they've been saying, oh, India has lost its position. We've burnt our bridges with Iran. The Iranians don't want to talk to us. Yesterday, so they were saying it was India's responsibility that the Iranian ship was bombed and whatnot. Just this morning, I came from Raisina Dialogue, where I shook hands with the Deputy Foreign Minister of Iran. He was sitting there, he was laughing with Jaishankar, he went up on stage and he gave a speech. Now, I am wondering, the Deputy Foreign Minister of Iran and clearly therefore the Iranian government don't have a problem with the Indian position. But the Congress and the SP seem to have a great problem. They are more loyal to Iran than the Iranian foreign minister is to Iran. Very curious. Kaise rishta bigad gaya, boss? If he's coming here, sitting and accepting all state honors and everything, how has your relationship gone bad, number one? Number two, let us come to this oil thing. They believe Donald Trump. Now, Donald Trump also said that Iran is the biggest terrorist regime and it needs to be regime changed. So if they believe Donald Trump on India, then Mr. Faizan Kidwai and Tehseen Poonawala should also agree with the fact that Khamenei deserved to be killed, na? But they won't agree to that. They will disagree with that completely. Third, can I just hold up, if we can zoom in the camera, I want to show you some statistics out here. This has been the price of Ural oil over the last 5 years. Can you see the zigzag out here? It makes absolutely no sense that except for one time in 2021 when it came down, it has been pretty high. Okay, now look at the next graph out here. This has been the international price of crude, Brent crude, which only in the last few months has gone up. The third is the chart of Indian oil purchases. Now this is a 10-year chart. You can see from 2013, 2014 when the UPA was in power, I think the Samajwadi Party was part of that. They never bought any crude from Russia. Why weren't they buying any crude from Russia? I think even from this distance you can see how big the 3 bars of the last 3 years are. Do you know that 1 million barrels of crude that we're buying from Russia today is more than cumulatively what the UPA was buying every year? भाई क्या बात कर रहे हो तुम लोग? क्या बात कर रहे हो तुम लोग? At least have some
कोई basis नहीं है, बस politics है तो है. और निवांश शर्मा, in December, India bought 1.2 million barrels per day from Russia. In January, 1.1 million barrels, and in February, 1 million barrels per day. कहाँ से कम हो गया? What are we saying? And if America wants to sound bombastic to its own domestic audience, do you think you want to play into their hands as a serious opposition party? Or is any opportunity for domestic politics?
देखिए नाविका जी, वी आर बिलीविंग यू. हम तो मान रहे हैं, हम तो देश की सरकार के साथ खड़ा होना चाहते हैं. वी वांट टू स्टैंड विद गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया. वी हैव फुल सपोर्ट विद गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया.
तो रोक कौन रहा है आपको?
आप कुछ बोलिए तो. रोक तो सरकार रही है. अभी आपके चैनल पे जियोपॉलिटिकल की समझ की बात की गई. अभी बीजेपी के महान प्रवक्ता ने बताया किस तरह से कि पूनावाला जी घर जाते हैं, मम्मी को बताते हैं, वो एग्जाम्पल दिया. अभी ये महान रंगनाथन जी ने एग्जाम्पल दिया कि कैसे साड़ियां, मनीष मल्होत्रा. अभी एक और एग्जाम्पल दिया गया बर्थडे पे मर्डर. ये जियोपॉलिटिकल समझ, वी आर लर्निंग. वी आर स्टूडेंट्स ऑफ दिस जियोपॉलिटिकल अंडरस्टैंडिंग. वी आर लर्निंग. हमें तो ये समझ नहीं आता अभी तक. लेकिन क्योंकि आपके ये, आई होप द अमेरिकन्स आर नॉट लिसनिंग टू देम बिकॉज दे आर गोइंग टू लाफ ऑन दिस. They are clearly about to, they'll be making fun of this कि how we are dealing with it. हम ये कह रहे हैं कि अगर यूएसए के फॉरेन सेक्रेटरी ये कहते हैं we won't let India become powerful like China. अगर फाइनेंस सेक्रेटरी ये कहता है कि ट्रेजरी डिपार्टमेंट इज इशूइंग अ 30-day waiver to allow India to purchase Russian oil. अगर ट्रम्प ये कहता है कि we have done ceasefire. अगर ट्रम्प ये कहता है कि ट्रम्प says that I don't want to finish Modi's political career. तो आप जवाब क्यों नहीं दे रहे? Why aren't you answering? आप हमें जवाब दे रहे हो ऑपोजिशन गलत है, देश की ऑपोजिशन खराब है. अरे आप यूएसए को भी जवाब दे दो, हम आपके साथ खड़े हैं. क्या ब्लैकमेल कर रहे हैं वो आपको? क्या लग गया उनका? आपका क्या लग गया उनके हाथ में? देखिए अगर आपका कुछ उनके हाथ में लग गया है तो आई थिंक प्राइम मिनिस्टर शुड स्टॉप एम्बैरेसिंग द कंट्री और उनको इस्तीफा दे देना चाहिए. अगर उनका यूएसए के पास कुछ ऐसा लग गया है जिससे यूएसए इज क्लियरली ब्लैकमेलिंग एंड गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया इज नॉट रिस्पॉन्डिंग. It is not about the opposition, it's about the country. USA.
अगर मगर पर रेजिग्नेशन मांगने वाली है आम आदमी पार्टी, प्लीज रिस्पॉन्ड. शहजाद पूनावाला, अगर ये हो गया तो आप ये कर लीजिए, मगर वो होगा तो आपको ये करना चाहिए. प्लीज रिस्पॉन्ड.
नाविका जी, पहले तो देखिए मैंने ये उदाहरण क्यों दिया, क्योंकि एक हमारे मुख्यमंत्री थे, उन्होंने कोविड के वेरिएंट को सिंगापुर वेरिएंट बोला तो इंटरनेशनल क्राइसिस बन गया. अब कुछ उनके मुख्यमंत्री ऐसे हैं कि खुद सॉवरन नहीं है, जैसे कि भगवंत मान, उनकी सॉवरनिटी केजरीवाल के हाथ में है, तो उनको कौन से एग्जाम्पल दे भाई? इनका डिफॉल्ट सेटिंग ही मनमोहन सिंह है, भगवंत मान है, जिनकी सॉवरनिटी कहीं और होती थी, 10 जनपद से लेकर केजरीवाल के घर में। तो जब वो सॉवरेनिटी के कॉन्सेप्ट से ही वाकिफ नहीं है तो उनको यही एग्जांपल देना पड़ेगा ना नाविका जी। पहले भगवंत मान को तो सॉवरेन कर लो पंजाब में। एनीवे छोड़ देते, मैं आता हूं आज की बात पर। मैं तहसीन पूनावाला और जो हमारे फैजान की दवाई दोनों सीरियस लोग हैं, मैं उनको जवाब देना चाहता हूं। ये बाकी लोग तो सीरियस भी नहीं है, उन दोनों से पूछना चाहता हूं। अरे छोड़ दीजिए ना सर, आप ऐसा है, आप सर ऐसा है, आप पहले लुधियाना और पंजाब संभाल लो। नाविका कहना है कंप्लीट, नाविका कहना है कंप्लीट। देखिए अब यही प्रॉब्लम है।
निवान शर्मा, कंप्लीट। निवान शर्मा, allow him to respond. Yes.
नाविका जी अब देखिए, बोलते बोलते इन्होंने मुझे तहसीन बोला। अब सोचिए ना, इनको पता ही नहीं तहसीन कौन है, शहजाद कौन है, कौन बीजेपी में है, कौन कांग्रेस में है, भगवंत मान पंजाब के हैं, केजरीवाल दिल्ली के। इनको ये समझ में नहीं आता, मैं इनको रिस्पॉन्ड करके कैसे लेजिटिमाइज करूं। पहले आप जाके पैनलिस्ट के नाम समझ के आओ, छोड़ देते। अब नाविका, लेट मी कंप्लीट। नाविका प्लीज, दिस काइंड ऑफ डिस्टर्बेंस फ्रॉम अ पार्टी विच डज नॉट हैव एनी स्टेक इन इंटरनेशनल अफेयर्स, आई थिंक इट इज अनकॉल्ड फॉर। लेट मी कंप्लीट। फैजान किदवाई और तहसीन पूनावाला से मैं एक सवाल पूछना चाहता हूं। फैजान किदवाई एंड तहसीन पूनावाला सेड कि देखो मोदी जी को आर्म ट्विस्ट करके रशियन ऑयल बंद करवा के ट्रेड डील फोर्स करवाया और तब जाकर 50% टैरिफ 18% पर आया। अब मैं फैजान किदवाई से पूछना चाहता हूं, अगर यह था कि रशियन ऑयल बंद करके ट्रेड डील मिल रहा है तो रशियन ऑयल हमने 10 लाख बैरल पर डे कैसे खरीदा? पर फैजान किदवाई ये भी बता दो कि ईरान के संबंध में हिलरी रोडहम क्लिंटन ने जब आर्म ट्विस्ट किया सोनिया को, तो आपने तेल खरीदना बंद क्यों किया? उसका जवाब स्पेसिफिकली दीजिए, बताइए।
Please respond, and while you're responding to that, I also want you to respond on what Mulayam Singh Yadav ji had once said in 1998. उस वक्त उन्होंने कहा था कि पोखरण टेस्ट के बाद Pakistan was given 2,000 crores from India to tide over its economic crisis. ये मुलायम सिंह यादव जी ने कांग्रेस की सरकार के बारे में कहा था, इस पर भी कुछ बता दीजिए।
जी मैं बता दूं, पहले तो ये फेक न्यूज है, ऐसा कभी कुछ नहीं कहा गया था। इफ देयर इज एनी प्रूफ, काइंडली प्रेजेंट इट टू मी इन फ्रंट ऑफ मी, प्ले दैट ऑडियो।
Please, I can send you the clipping of the Tribune newspaper, Wednesday, September 16, 1998.
Taken out of context, madam. I don't believe in that. Yes, I don't.
Okay. You don't believe in the Tribune.
Yesterday, Navika ji, no, this is an important point. Let me clarify. Yesterday, when I told you the Hormuz Strait has been blocked, Shahzad, just एक मिनट शहजाद। मैंने नाविका जी, कल जब मैंने हॉर्मस स्ट्रेट बंद कर दिया गया था, यही बोल रहा हूं। अरे ट्रंप में मोदी जी विश्वास रखते तभी तो झप से गले लगाते हैं। चलिए अब रुक जाइए। तो अभी मैं ये कह रहा हूं कि देखिए, जब मैंने आपसे कहा था हॉर्मस स्ट्रेट बंद हो गया तो आपने फौरन उसको रबिश कर दिया था। आपने कह दिया था कि वो बिल्कुल बंद नहीं है, सब कुछ चल रहा है। बाद में आ गया ना, तो
मैंने कहा था कि चाइनीज शिप्स जा रही है, बाकी पे नेगोशिएशन है। दैट इज द पोजीशन इवन टुडे।
Exactly. Now, just let me make this point, since you spoke about Swargya Netaji, that it was Netaji while he was the defense minister, modernization of Indian armed forces happened. It was Netaji who brought in this rule that our martyrs, their mortal remains will be with full.
But that's not the question. I'm asking you, why don't you ask the Congress party questions which gave 2,000 crore rupees to Pakistan? You can't answer a question that wasn't asked.
Want to ask? See, I am not a Congress party spokesperson.
अरे तो दोस्त, आपके दोस्त नहीं है, अलायंस पार्टनर है ना?
आप कांग्रेस बैठे हैं, वो बहुत अच्छा बोलते हैं, उनसे पूछे, वो बोलेंगे।
नहीं तो फिर सॉवरेनिटी तब भी अंडर क्वेश्चन थी, ये तो मान जाएंगे ना?
क्या रीजन होगा? क्या रीजन?
तहसीन पूनावाला।
Navika, thank you.
Well, Tehseen, now respond. 2,000 crore to Pakistan. Hillary Rodham Clinton saying what she has. How come Congress and India was sovereign then, has suddenly not stayed sovereign now?
I'll add one more thing to this. What Abhijit very articulately said, that Congress and UP did not buy enough oil from Russia, which has gone up. True, Abhijit is right on facts. For the first 2 points, Hillary Clinton and 2000 whatever to Pakistan. Look, the BJP attacked that the Congress was a weak government. You can't take refuge in what the Congress did weak. Now let's come to what Abhijit said, and I'll end here. Yes, we didn't buy oil from Russia enough because we weren't getting the price discount, my friend Abhijit. Today we are getting it, but US stifled us. And when the US decided that, listen, oil prices will go up simply because, Abhijit, please allow me. Abhijit, please allow me. Abhijit, please
one
allow
second.
me.
Russian crude
Sure,
went up in the last 6 months.
Allow me to finish. Just allow me because the viewers will break. Sure, we didn't buy because Russian oil was not discounted. Today, Russian oil is discounted and furthermore discounted, and therefore we should buy at our sovereign right. The US prevented us and is now.
But then you could force the discounts they have. Well, that's how it goes. Abhijit, putting out a fact, Abhijit.
Can you see how steeply Russian crude has gone up? It has literally increased by something like it's gone up from 50 to 70 in the space of 1 month. $50 to $70.
But we're still buying. So
we're
where
still
is the
buying
question
in spite of that because one second.
That's I'm completely out of time. We did a snap poll and we asked the question, since India never stopped buying oil from Russia, has Congress's fakery been torpedoed? We asked this question and we did a poll. Yes, say 86% of the people. No, say 10%, can't say 4%. 86% people believe that yes, the fakery that Congress and the opposition is trying to peddle doesn't have legs to stand on. Where does that leave the entire narrative that is being created? Well, I don't know. It is the people who will judge all of this when we see the interests of India few days from now when this war gets over. We leave it at that. Thank you very much to all my panelists for joining me on debate number 1. On the